Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves, one of my all-time favorite Mercury Living Presence collections, album collections. I don't mean like, 300 discs in a box. The problem with collections is that you, first of all, you don't know where to file them. And once you find out where to file them, you tend to forget about them unless there's something on them that you really, really want. But if there's a lot of sort of unusual repertoire by people you've never heard of, it's an issue. So this one, Fiesta in Hi-Fi. Oh, wow. I love this record. I can't even tell you how much fun this record is. If you can get your hands on it, just grab it, snatch it up immediately. Fiesta in Hi-Fi, I keep it under H for Howard Hanson because I know I'll see it. It's Howard Hanson with the Eastman-Rochester Orchestra and chorus, and holy mackerel, they're great. This is Howard Hanson type music for the most part. In other words, it's composers you haven't heard of, but who are conservative American, it's mostly American, not all, tonal, traditional composers just writing fun, enjoyable, delightful music. And that's all it is. And boy, is that enough. And it's recorded to a fairly well by Mercury Living Presence, one of those really high level. Wilma Cozart, who edited all these things and who I knew quite well, was very excited about this one when it came out. She was, working her way through it, and she called me up and she said, "Lee, we're not going to believe what we have coming. There's this piece. It's on Fiesta in Hi-Fi. It's called Shivery by Lyndon Mitchell from his Kentucky Mountain Portraits. Listen to that. You're not going to believe it." And oh my goodness, it was amazing. It still is. It makes the most fabulous ringtone you've ever heard in your life, by the way. The tune you'll know, it's a folk tune, but we're going to get to that. Let me tell you what's on here, and we'll just leave it at that because you just have to own this. No sane classical music record collector can live without Fiesta in Hi-Fi. It's one of those discs that should never, ever, 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 ever be out of print. You have to do the ripe for reissue thing. This would be really at the top of the list. So what do you get? Robert McBride. Well, his dates were 1911 I suspect since then he's no longer with us, but, because he'd be 111. But he wrote this thing called Mexican Rhapsody. And it's a Mexican Rhapsody. It's like El Sol in Mexico without the syncopations, It's really, really cool. And then we have Ron Nelson, Savannah River Holiday. See, it's all sort of North American exoticism, if you want to call it that. And then Lyndon Mitchell, who had a very brief life. He only lived to be 40, 1923 to 1963. And he wrote this thing called Kentucky Mountain Portraits. The three movements are Cindy, Ballad, and Shivery. Oh, Shivery. It's it's a folk tune. I think it's an Irish folk tune, actually, but it somehow, like most of those Irish and Scottish tunes, they were absorbed into the American vernacular by the Hatfields and the McCoys and the other, denizens of the Kentucky mountains and Appalachia and all those regions. And they had that wonderful folk tradition. It's fabulous, fabulous stuff. And this is one of those things. And Lyndon Mitchell just set this thing as a rip snorter of a finale. Oh my God, it's fun. And recorded with such vividness. It just knocks you against the back of your wall there. Oh, gosh, it's marvelous. Then we've got Charles G. Vardell Jr., 1893 to 1962. Joe Clark Steps Out. And William Grant Still. Okay, we all know who he was, thank goodness. And he's actually doing better now because he was an African-American composer, and now those people are in. It was really something back in 1960 or 59 for Howard Hanson to include a major work of his, and I'm so happy he did. It's his ballet, Saji, which is in two movements. It's 20 minutes long. It also has the Eastman School chorus. It's a beautiful work, like most of Still's work. It's really very, very listenable and enjoyable. So that's lovely. And last but not least, the only non-American, I think non-American here. I know he was non-American. The others, I'm not sure what the technicalities of their birth were. I'm not looking. Alberto Ginastera, the overture to the Creole Faust. Oh, yeah, it's Abertura, for El Fausto Criollo or something like that. Oh, it's a great piece. Absolutely great piece. And this is just one of those discs. It's like every single number is a joy, and it pops out of your speakers with astonishing vividness. And Mercury Living Presence, they did such great work. And Wilma was right. Listen to Wilma. If you don't take my word for it, this is one of the great Mercury Living Presence recordings. Get it, get it, get it, and just have a great time. That's all it is. It's pure joy from beginning to end. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.